Sophie's rant begins with a simple truth. Everyone knows Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA, yet some people keep questioning it.
And it literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What? No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. We have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
Did you hear that? You're dumb. Sophie isn't name-calling fans. She's calling out the players and pundits who can't accept that Clark is pulling women's basketball into a new era. And she's right.
Yeah, it's all coming out. The truth shall set you free.
She stated the obvious yesterday. They were talking about Caitlin Clark, and we keep telling you Caitlin Clark's the face of the league.
Y'all are getting exposed for the nasty work y'all was doing. We said over and over again, she's clearly being targeted.
No other rookie has sold out arenas and spiked TV ratings like CC. Even Sophie's co-host marveled at how her podcast exploded to 122K views. That's because Caitlin Clark fans showed up, just like they do at every Indiana Fever game. But Sophie didn't stop at defending Clark's stardom. She spilled locker room tea from her old team, the Phoenix Mercury. When she was with Phoenix last season, she says veterans were plotting to rough Clark up.
You have seen players in our league try to toughen up Caitlin. We call her CC. CC. Even when I wasn't on her team, I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of no, we're gonna prove her, we're gonna show her what the W really is.
See, they're not talking about, oh, we gon' cross her over. I'm gonna cross her over. Oh, I'm gonna lock her up. Oh, I'm about to go for 30 on. They're not talking about basketball. They're talking about prison ball. We gonna grab her. We gonna throw her to the floor. We gonna, yeah. That's what they was talking about.
Think about that. A former teammate is admitting that players were planning to show Caitlin what the W really is. That's code for extra physical fouls, hard screens, and trash talk. The very things fans have noticed all season. Sophie says it's gone way beyond rookie hazing. She's watched it from the opposing bench and now from the Fever bench. That's why she finally snapped. But why does this rant matter? Before we dive into things that will blow your mind, make sure to like the video and comment CC always to support Caitlin Clark. Let's go.
This is ridiculous. She's the cash cow. She's the reason that people are even watching all of this. She's the reason for all of this stuff.
Before we dive into Sophie's rant, we need to understand how Caitlin Clark changed the WNBA. In 2023, the Indiana Fever ranked near the bottom of the league in attendance, drawing just 4,067 fans per game. After drafting Clark in 2024, everything exploded. Ticket sales across the entire league jumped 93%, and 36 of the Fever's 40 games were nationally televised. Indiana's home attendance leaped to 17,036 fans per game, more than 340,000 fans over 20 home games. That's more people than attended some NBA and MLB teams. The Fever outdrew the Washington Wizards, Memphis Grizzlies, Charlotte Hornets, Tampa Bay Rays, and Oakland Athletics. By the Olympic break in July 2024, the WNBA reported a 1,193% increase in jersey sales, a 264.6% surge in ticket sales and total attendance, and 800 million social media views tied to Clark's games. This isn't a temporary spike. In 2025, the momentum continued. The Fever sold out 16 of their first 20 home games, drawing the maximum 17,274 fans. Meanwhile, other teams moved their games to NBA arenas to handle the demand. Corporate partnerships rose 225%, the WNBA app saw a tenfold increase in user interactions, and the league gained 1.3 million new followers. In short, Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's an economic engine. Now keep those numbers in mind when you hear what some players have been saying behind closed doors.
Not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Jealousy spilled into public view in July 2025. When WNBA players voted for all-star spots, fans and media put Clark at the top. She received 1.3 million fan votes, the most ever, yet players ranked her 9th among guards. Hall of Fame broadcaster Dick Vitale called it absolutely pure jealousy, reminding everyone that Clark's arrival brought chartered flights, higher salaries, sold-out crowds, and improved TV ratings. His point, how can you vote the person responsible for these perks so low? Then came Kelsey Plum's veiled shot after the All-Star game when she told reporters that none of Clark's teammates attended a players-only meeting for higher pay. A remark fans called divisive. The jealousy narrative was building, but it needed a catalyst. Enter Sophie Cunningham.
And it literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What? People will try to argue that she's not the face of our league.
Yeah.
Or if our league would be where we're at without her. You're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
Cunningham, 28, is a 6-year veteran known for her toughness and outspokenness. She played for the Phoenix Mercury before joining the Indiana Fever in 2024. During a June game against the Connecticut Sun, she threw JCS Sheldon to the floor to protect Clark, instantly becoming a viral hero. Fever fans embraced her as an enforcer, and her big personality landed her endorsement deals and a recurring role on social media. This summer, she launched a podcast called Show Me Something with Bravo personality West Wilson, and the debut episode racked up 122,000 views in just one day. It wasn't just because of her charisma, it was because of what she said. Cunningham isn't reading from a script. She speaks bluntly. She filmed her first episode wearing an Arby's t-shirt with the slogan, "I have the meats," which in itself went viral. Even Arby's social media team joined the party, replying, "Hell yeah, you do," turning a simple sponsorship into a meme. But the memes faded when she unleashed on her colleagues. She didn't hedge. She named another star, Sabrina Ionescu, and said no. She praised the league's veterans, calling them badasses, then declared any argument against Clark's status dumb as That wasn't just passion, it was frustration from someone who has seen the numbers. Remember, attendance up 264%, jersey sales up 1,193%, 20 sellouts in Indiana. How can anyone deny that Clark is the face? Cunningham's rant resonated because it echoed what fans had been screaming at their screens, and it angered some players who felt she was airing dirty laundry. But Sophie wasn't done.
Kind of transform a league, but also just be like,
No,
is that fair to say?
not even just the league, but
The
women's
sport,
basketball as a whole around the
Yeah.
world. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's so funny because she's 22, 23 years old and the whole world is watching her.
In the same podcast, Cunningham dropped an even juicier piece of gossip. She revealed that when she was with the Phoenix Mercury, veterans in the locker room openly discussed making life miserable for Caitlin Clark. Sophie confirms the suspicions many fans had. Opposing teams weren't just playing physical basketball, they were plotting to rough up Clark. Rookie hazing is one thing, but Cunningham says there was a show her what the W really is mentality directed specifically at Clark. She calls it too much, noting that this is Clark's second year and the hostility hasn't subsided. It gets more damning when you consider that the WNBA's referees were already under scrutiny for letting Clark absorb hard fouls without calls. Cunningham explained that frustration had been building because officials weren't protecting the league's biggest star. She said it had been building up over time that the referees had not been protecting the star player of the WNBA and that she would always defend her teammates. In other words, she felt forced to be the enforcer because the league wasn't doing its job.
Yeah, it's way too much. It is overboard. I'm glad she came out and said it. This needed to be said. It goes way overboard when it comes to Caitlin Clark. We got these girls out there hacking and grabbing and all of this stuff, man.
No nonsense. Bravo.
Cunningham's podcast wasn't the first time she called out the WNBA. After a hard foul in a June game, she told reporters that referees were failing to protect the league's star, saying it had been a problem for years. She emphasized that she didn't go into games looking for fights. She focused on hitting her shots and executing plays. But she would always protect her teammates. Those comments gained little traction until her podcast because they were couched in post-game diplomacy. By contrast, her "you're dumb" rant and locker room revelations were unfiltered and viral ready.
If you think all of this stuff is not going on in the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark, you have lost your mind. You are delusional. You are psychotic. You are insane. Everything that you see going on, all these ticket sales, The views is up for everybody because Caitlin Clark has brought in all these people.
Cunningham's defense of Clark matters for more than just gossip. When fans saw her throw an opponent to the floor to protect Clark, they felt someone in the league finally valued their star. The commentary you provided notes that fans were waiting for somebody to do what Sophie did. They saw her as more than an enforcer. They saw her as a truth teller willing to challenge the norms. This explains why her debut podcast viewership blew past 122,000 in one day and why her Arby's posts reached hundreds of thousands. Fans craved authenticity, and Sophie delivered. Now let's zoom out. Clark's presence has forced the WNBA to modernize. Charter flights, national TV deals, corporate sponsors, digital engagement, all have grown dramatically. Yet there's tension between the league's old guard and the new star-driven model. Veterans who paid their dues in relative obscurity now watch a rookie collect endorsements and break revenue records. Some embrace it, recognizing that everyone benefits from bigger paychecks and exposure. Others see it as disrespectful to the pioneers who built the league. That divide surfaced when players ranked Clark 9th in All-Star voting and when Kelsey Plum publicly criticized her teammates for missing a pay equity meeting. It also shows up in the locker room plots Sophie revealed. In short, the WNBA is grappling with success, and not everyone likes who's getting credit. Part of the backlash has been literal. Clark has been fouled hard, shoved, and even hit in the face without whistle protections. Cunningham hinted that referees aren't treating Clark like the star she is, and fans have noticed. Social media blew up when Clark took elbows to the head with no flagrant calls. At the same time, some players and pundits argue that Clark as a rookie should earn her respect by enduring the same physicality they faced. That view lines up with the Phoenix Mercury's plan to show her what the W really is. Sophie rejects that logic, calling the extra physicality too much. The question for the league is, will it protect its star attraction or allow old-school hazing to continue?
Don't be a hater. Stop. Just stop what you're doing. Just stop. Caitlin Clark is the reason for all of this, and it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you guys are not great players. It doesn't mean that you guys don't have fans of your own. It doesn't mean any of that. You're just not the driving force for what's going on.
The financial stakes are high. Clark's arrival has not only boosted attendance but also valuations. According to Sportsnaut, the Fever gained the largest number of team sponsors in the league and set the team store's sales record 4 times. Corporate partnerships across the WNBA jumped 225%. Meanwhile, players like Sophie are cashing in on endorsements. She signed deals with Arby's and others, and she's building her personal brand through podcasts and social media. For a league that long struggled to monetize its stars, this is uncharted territory. The challenge is balancing commercial success with fairness, paying players more, protecting them on the court, and fostering a culture that celebrates rather than resents breakout stars. But let's revisit the All-Star voting one more time. Clark led fan voting, media voting, and ended up a co-captain of the All-Star game. Yet players ranked her 9th among guards. Sports Illustrated pointed out that players like Kelsey Plum also fell dramatically from their fan rankings. The disconnect between players and fans underscores the jealousy narrative. But it also raises questions about the WNBPA's voting process. If players are punishing Clark for her spotlight, they're also ignoring the financial reality that she's lifting everyone. That's why Dick Vitale's tweet resonated. He reminded players that Clark's success means chartered flights, bigger salaries, and sold-out arenas. In other words, jealousy could hurt the very progress players say they want.
And I'm so glad that Sophie Cunningham is on Caitlin Clark's team, man, because the things that she does on the floor doesn't always show in the stat sheet, and she's one of the few people that stood up and fought.
Sophie Cunningham's rant is more than a viral moment. It's a window into a league at a crossroads. She called out critics who deny that Clark is the face of the WNBA, labeling them dumb as F. She exposed locker room plots to rough up the rookie and accused referees of failing to protect the league's meal ticket. In doing so, she forced fans and players to confront an uncomfortable truth. Jealousy and old-school hazing threatened to derail the WNBA's biggest growth spurt ever. Yet, there is hope. The numbers don't lie. Attendance, ratings, merchandise, and sponsorships are all skyrocketing. If players can embrace the new superstar culture and the league can ensure fair play and fair pay, the WNBA's future is bright. So what side are you on? Do you agree with Sophie that critics of Caitlin Clark are dumb? Or do you think the backlash is justified? Should rookies endure extra physical play? Or should the league protect its stars? And how should the WNBA balance tradition with growth? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into women's basketball drama, hit that subscribe button. The conversation isn't over. In fact, it's just getting started.